What am I doing? I'm live. I was Miles, I was sending a link to my moderator. That's what I was doing. I didn't know I needed to have permission to do that. I will be with you guys in just a second. Hold tight. And I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm just focused. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just focused. That's all. How are you guys? No, not at all. Why would I be up late? It's only going on 7 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock where you are. Where I am, it's just 6:59 p.m. I need to get my script. Yep. I do. I don't. More or less. This is going to be really interesting poll, I think. we are going to have a regular topic tonight. It just takes me a minute to get everything set up. When I can do it without making spelling mistakes. Man, I can't spell tonight. So irritating. How is everybody? Guys, I will be right with you. Sorry, I was doing my poll. America is America. I don't know if it's nice or not. No. I am single. Been single for a while. Okay, anyway. Tonight we are talking about the European eel. This is a conservation spotlight. I do prefer it that way nowadays. Yeah, I have 2 brothers and a sister and a whole lot of nieces and nephews. I feel like most of the animals that I've covered are larger animals or more fearsome. Yeah. Or more fiercer animals. And we have discussed some ones that are not so fearsome or not so large. I feel like this one is sort of in between. So today we are talking about the European eel. Hello, Cozy. Yeah, I do. I see him every day. We are talking about the European eel. And its life cycle actually begins in the Sargasso Sea near Bermuda. No, if I play music, it'll get banned. I'll end up in trouble. So no, I'm not playing music. The life cycle begins in the Sargasso Sea near Bermuda, and then eventually they make their way. I'm not playing music. They begin their journey across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe and then back to the Sargasso Sea. Hello, carry me through. Hello. I look like I have no idea what that means. Jay Jr., if I'm going to offer you this. Yeah, and you can either erase it from my live, or you're going to be timed out. Because if I have to do it, you're going to be timed out or banned. So make a choice. Now. Because once I send it to my moderator, I'm sorry doesn't cut it. I don't think it's funny. Oh, you know what? My moderator just saw it. It's out of my hands now. I don't. Hi. Yeah, I try really hard. Guys, I really do, but when you put up stuff that is just stupid, that's what happens. If you're gonna be stupid and you're gonna post stupid stuff, there's consequences, even online. Anyway, the European eel begins its life. Hi, I'm from the United States. Why are you sad about being from Bangladesh? I don't understand. So the European eel begins its life in the Sargasso Sea near Bermuda, and then they hatch from their eggs, spend some time in the Gulf Stream, and then are taken to Europe, where they spend 20 years in Europe and then return to the Sargasso Sea to start it all over again. They can reach 1.9 feet to 2.6 feet, or 60 centimeters to 80 centimeters. But there are some that can even reach. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do this. Everybody from anywhere is booking my lives as long as they're not jerks. Where was I? They can reach, some of them can even reach 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet in length. As adults, they can weigh around 2.2 pounds or up to 4.4 pounds or 1 to 2 kilograms. Their average lifespan is 20 years. However, some can reach 50 years. Their eggs are laid, like I said, within the Sargasso Sea and will hatch in the Atlantic Ocean, where they will hitch a ride on the Gulf Stream and get carried to Europe. That is a 4,000-mile trip that can last as long as 2 years. At different stages in their lives, they are called different things. When they reach Europe, they are called glass eels. And then in their next stage, as they get a little bit older, they're called bootlace eels. And this is when they actually enter fresh water. I don't understand what's wrong with okay. I don't understand what's wrong with Bangladesh. It's home, right? It's where you live. Following the bootlace stage, they mature and their bellies will get yellow, and at that point they're called yellow eels, and they will remain in this stage within their rivers for 20 years. After those 20 years, they turn into what's called silver eels, and it's at this stage that they then make the trip from Europe to the Sargasso Sea, and they are going to mate. And I don't believe they make a return trip. They might, but I don't think so. The number of eels that are returning to Europe have dropped by 95% in the last 40 years. These guys feed on fish, mollusk, and crustaceans, but they will also scavenge off of dead fish. These guys are listed as critically. You don't have to keep retracting your messages. They are critically endangered. Their population trend is, unfortunately, for more decreases. Unfortunately, I don't have a number of them in the wild. Now, they are not housed. The eggs are laid in the Sargasso Sea, and when they hatch, they make their way to the Gulf Stream, and that carries them back to Europe. And it's those babies that return to Europe, not the adults. They are not housed in aquariums in the United States. However, Denmark exhibits them, Iceland exhibits them, one place in Norway, one place in Switzerland. The UK has 2 places that house them. Belgium has 2. Germany has 33. Finland has 2, and France has 8. Now, why are these guys endangered? This is the big problem. There are barriers to their migration, climate change, habitat loss, invasive species, parasites, pollution, predation, and all affect these animals. So one of their barriers are hydropower turbines or dams. And so what they have started doing is actually, well, we'll talk about that later. There are changes in ocean currents occurring, warming or colder, diseases and parasites. There is we'll get to that later too. legal and illegal trade in eels. So there is a parasitic nematode that was introduced from the Japanese eel, which was imported to Europe, that has managed to jump to European eels. Toxic metals and other chemicals are known to build up in the eels and can impact their lipid storage, which then affects migration. We went from small scale fishing to commercial fishing, and that has led to drops and catches of the yellow and silver eels, which are just different ages of the European eel. And poaching of these fish is also an issue. So what's being done to save them? One of the problems with recovery efforts is that there isn't much of it done. Much of it is done at the local level or within a national level, and there's little to no international protection. In 2007, though, the EU did adopt a European Union-wide recovery plan for the eel. And they have started to do assisted migration, which basically means that the eels are captured and then moved past the barriers and then released again. So that is pretty cool. And do we have... I have just 2 people. Is there anybody else in here besides Carry Me Through? Oh, man. I don't know, Carry Me Through. I'm thinking we may need to switch and do a 1 o'clock instead of a 7 o'clock. Because there is nobody in here. I don't know. We'll do a test run next week. Do you have a minute? I want to get the lives for, since we're done with the month, get the lives sorted out for whatever month we're on next. Yeah. Early for us, but late for them. Well, August is done, but I want to get to it now so that I can get it done, so I don't have to worry about it later. So we're going to end live, and I will see everybody later. Whoops. I will end live now and see everybody later. Have a good one, and be good, everybody.